Sometimes I just stand around practicing my photo action pose. Do you ever do that? I don't really do that. I don't practice my action pose, but maybe I should. Maybe it would make my photography that much better. On a serious note, I think the woodhouse scrub jays that nest in my bush every year, I think they're back. I think I caught her scouting me out this morning. We have a little relationship after 2.5 years. And I'm not joking. It's a little, I don't know, human to pájaro relationship that goes on. And it's actually kind of cool and something I look forward to. On a serious note, we got to talk a little bit about picture packages. I mentioned this in a film a couple of days ago. A picture package is somewhere between a single standalone frame and an entire photo essay. This is a puzzle that is incredibly strategic when it comes to being a photographer and not only making images, but being able to edit the damn things after you make them. Actually, it turns out that's kind of an important part of the deal. So 3 to 5 picture packages that can be based on content, context, color, or all the above. So before I really lose it and start rambling, let's just get our asses in there and take a look at one of these things. Okay, let's talk picture packages. Now, anytime I go to do one of these ScreenFlow recordings, it always takes about 8 tries. My phone's gonna ring, something's gonna happen to the computer, my washing machine will explode, I'll have a coyote attack, something will make me have to redo this entire thing. My voice will go 8 times. That's just the way it is. I don't know what it is. My death ray comes out, and you should see the gaggle, the hornet's nest of cables and connections on my desktop right now. It's embarrassing. I don't know what half of them do. I've got candles lit. I've got monks in the other room chanting to make sure that this works. We're going to talk picture packages. This is a blast. This should be fun. Frankly, I think this is something that you should be doing on a regular basis, which is why I think this is going to turn into a series, because picture packages are doable. They make us feel like we're making progress. And I don't know about you, but that feels pretty good. Progress is enough. Okay, let's jump into trusty Photoshop, shall we? Oh, geez. Who put this in here? This amazing, sexy, incredible, dramatic photo of me. How did that accidentally get in here? Oh man, I'm sorry. Where were we? Okay, we're talking picture package. This is a picture package from my recent trip to Baja California Sur. Southern Baja, actually Central Baja, down the Pacific coast, around the tip of Cabo, and back up into the Sea of Cortez. I was gone for about a week. This was a weird trip for me, not something I would typically be doing, and a very strange photographic trip for me because I'm a people person. I photograph photo stories about people. So I'm not a landscape person. I'm not a seascape person. I'm not a wildlife person. But you know what? Improvise, adapt, and overcome. If that's the content that's in front of you, you just have to make the best of it and go. And I very much, truly enjoyed myself. I would do this again if I was given half a chance. So let's take a look at the 4 images that we are going to talk about today. Remember this first one. Here's the second one. This one I would call seascape, color palette maroon, wildlife, color palette blue-green, landscape, color palette yellow, humanity, MILNOR style photo, grayscale. So these are the 4 that we are working with for our picture package. But let's go back to these and let me tell you a little bit about each one before we put them together and see what the possibilities are. Alrighty then. Let me find, is that the brush tool? No. Where's the brush tool? Is that it? No. I don't know Photoshop. I don't want to know Photoshop. Okay, this is potentially my single favorite photo from the entire trip. And that's bizarre because, as I mentioned, there's no people in this. I love this picture, but let me explain how this happened. So I am using my camera. This is a Fuji X-T4. I've probably got a 50 mil on it, and I am slowly panning the camera in this direction, believe it or not. Slowly panning the camera. Nothing in this scene is happening rapidly. Nothing is happening at the speed at which the surface of the ocean makes you believe it's happening. The tide, the swell, and the wind are going in this direction. I am panning in reverse, and I am using a very slow shutter speed, and I have lucked out because I have got rays of the most incredible maroon colored light coming from this direction. It is just, the sun has just crested the horizon. There are literally seconds of this color of light. And from this, it goes from maroon to orange to yellow to white. That's typically the trend. There are seconds where I could have made this picture. I lucked out, and you get this absolute maroon. Now, the color of this water is closer to what's in that circle right there. This water at this time of day looks jet black. So to get this color at all is 100% based on the color of the sun coming up. That's it. I lucked out. As I mentioned, this is a very, very low percentile image. You may get this, you may not. It's not like you're going to blast off 100 frames of this and think you're going to, the quantity is going to save you. This is as close as I would come to a wildlife photograph. And this was shot from the bow of the ship as we were moving with a 50 to 140, and I'm too lazy to take off the 2x converter. Plus, I think I'm going to get like sea spray inside the camera as soon as I'm taking it off, so I just leave it on, and I shoot way too tight. And I hope, like, if I shoot 50 frames, I'll get one that worked out. But I do like this frame, and what I really like about it is the sense of motion. And I also love the color palette. I am an absolute sucker for that blue-green. And oh, by the way, every camera system has its own color palette, and the Fuji color palette to me is as good as it gets. Other systems, Nikon has a unique palette, Canon has a unique palette, Sony has a unique palette, and one person's going to love another one more than me. I happen to think the Fuji palette is absolutely astounding. Now, there is an image within the image, and that image is right here. But with an X-T4 with 24 megapixels, that's where I'm going to start to see degradation if I try to enlarge this too much. The only thing I would have going for me is that the image isn't 100% tack sharp, and that's why I think it works so well. It gives a great sense of motion. But if I really tried to enlarge this section to a size of this, I'm going to see degradation. And I just don't like pixelation. I love grain. If this was a film image and I cropped in and it was super grainy, I'd be fine with it. I don't like that digital pixelation. So we have what we have here. But remember, blue-green color palette. This next one is, to me, a boring photograph. There's nothing wrong with this photo, but it bores me to death. This is a landscape photo. I knew it when I shot it. I'm shooting it because what I'm doing is I'm just collecting data. I'm covering my bases. I'm in a situation where there's great light. I've got great light coming from the left, and it's spilling down this hillside. And as you can see, the gradation between here and here, how that light is falling off the further I go this way. That I like. That I think is a really nice little section here. And again, there's plenty of space up here. If I want to run, let's say I want to run copy blocks. I've got space to run copy over this if I want to. I've also got space to run copy right here if I want to. I've got space to run copy down here. It's a strategic picture. It's not my favorite picture. Now, here's where we get into more of who I am as a photographer. Number one, grayscale. I'm primarily a grayscale photographer. This is an in-camera double exposure. I've got the bow of the ship right here. I've got the famous arches of Cabo right here. I've got the famous overdevelopment of Cabo right here. I've got my humans that I love so much in my photographs, and I've got an overlay. The first image was of the surface of the ocean, and the second was of the scene you're looking at here. So they're stitched together. This is an okay example of a double exposure. It's not my favorite. It's not the best one I made on the trip, but it's here, and I'm going to use it. So let's go back to these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you're saying, Milner, you're a genius with a camera. That's obvious. We need 5 minutes just to sit and ponder our existence. No, you can't have it, because you need to think of me as the editor that is yelling down your throat from the insides of the paper. And he's not happy. He's overweight, he has a horrible diet, and his wife's mad at him. So he's mad at you because she's mad at him, and he's not giving you 5 minutes to contemplate your life. So we're going to jump right into what a potential picture package would look like. This is package number 1. Now, I want you to immediately identify color palette. Look at the difference in the color palette. Yellow, maroon, grayscale, blue-green. Dramatic. There are picture packages that will all work with a single palette, and that's in my next episode. I'm going to show you a picture package that has all the same color palette. And then your package is based on context, design within the image, and subject matter. But this is where we're at right now. But there are, in my opinion, a couple of glaring problems with this sequence. Number one, look at the direction that this image pulls you in. This image pulls you to the right, okay? That is a definite pull. This image pulls you to the right. That is a definite pull to the right, and now this image is being pulled off the page, basically. Not a good thing. That's not a good sequence. Plus, look at the direction of this image. To me, this is a left-facing image. You've got the content on the right side, but it pulls your eye to the left because of this big, hot, open space. Your eye is going to naturally be attracted to that. And oh, by the way, I would potentially crop this image up here. I would potentially crop that island out, and I would also crop this little section here of this image. I don't like that at all. That's sloppy. That's me as a photographer being sloppy. So here's the picture package. Here's the basic ingredients. This doesn't work. This is the wrong order. That's what I'm trying to get at. Let's move a little bit. Okay. We are now facing the same dilemma. I've got this image, which really feels like a little bit it's going in this direction. You know, the bow of the ship is headed in that direction, but just the overall feel. And now this image is going off the page, right? And I also don't like 3 color images in a row right here, and the black and white just left like an abandoned person over here on the left. It looks completely out of place. I don't like the sequence at all. Moving along, shall we? Now we are getting closer, my friends and family. Now we're getting closer. Now this image is pushing to the right, but now it has all this real estate to work with. All of this plays. Now it's starting to feel good. And oh, by the way, this image is pushing to the right. And it's got plenty of real estate over here, right? It doesn't feel like it's flying off the page. This one, still in the wrong spot. And this one still feels like, you know, this is your buddy who you went out with at night and you were all partying, and he's the one, when you looked up, he was jumping on top of the cop car and everybody scattered. I'm not saying that actually happened to me. I'm not saying that exact scenario ever happened, that I took a friend out who no one else wanted to take out, and we did, and when we turned our back, he was jumping up and down on a cop car. I'm not saying that really happened, but it might have, and I might have run as fast as possible. So this doesn't work in this location right here. I just don't like the feel of this spread at all. So let's keep moving. Okay, people, you'll see these two pictures. Whoops. These two pictures. What happened here? Please. Oh, I know what happened. I forgot to flatten this baby. I'm going to go ahead and flatten that. Flatten it, Milner. All right, so these two didn't move. And now we are talking, the grayscale is starting to fit. It's starting to fit. This is starting to feel legit. I got a right facing. I like this color palette, the contrast between blue, green, and red, and then breaking it up with a grayscale, and then ending it on the right with a nice, positive, fluffy, flowery, yellowy landscape that everyone loves, except me. So this is starting to feel good. This is the picture package. Now, there's only one little thing that you could do, is you could flip these, right? Now, because I'm such a people person, it would be easy for me to flip this and say, okay, this is not me, but I really like this picture. I'm leading with that because I think this image creates a sense of mood that encompassed my entire trip. This picture makes me feel like I'm back on that trip. But I'm a people person. So maybe I hit you secondarily immediately off the bat with an image that's representative of me as a photographer, which is an in-camera double exposure grayscale. And then hit the blue-green, which is still pushing to the right and has plenty of room from the left with this safe anchoring picture on the right. So this is a legitimate thing as well. I could easily use this as the picture package, but I still, for some reason, well, now that I look at it, dang it, I thought this was what I was going to go for. But you know what? I'm not. I am going with this. I am going with this as the final. You see what just happened? I thought I had this figured out. I didn't, because it took a minute to sit with this work and look at it. And here's the point I'm trying to make, people. So calm down. Put down that chili dog. Put down the 60-ounce soda and listen to this. This is, in part, You're not just using the basic elements of the imagery to build your picture package. This is also about feel. And feel comes from time in the field and time editing. It can happen instantaneously, or it can happen a year after you've made the work and you go back to revisit what you've made, and you see glaring images that you left out, you see a poor edit, you see things you could move around. So it took me, since I started making this film, 20 minutes probably went by. So I thought initially that this would be the final picture package, but I actually don't think so. I think this is now the final package that I would use. So, my friends, my online family, those names and comments that come rolling in, this is why I wanted to talk about picture packages. This is what happens when you're a photographer, and it ain't just about the fancy schmancy front end and all the new hot cameras. It's about the work itself and what you do with it after the fact. This is critical. This is the important part. What were you able to capture in the field? And then what are you going to do with it? And so if it comes to making, let's say you're going to make a book or a magazine from a project, these little picture packages are your gateway drug to being able to accomplish something like editing an 80-page spread, 8-0, like something big. That's a very specific skill that takes practice. So doing these little picture packages by yourself is a fun thing to do and a strategic thing to do. Now, overall on this trip, I would give myself about a C in terms of quality of work that I came back with, and that is 100% my fault, because 2 years out of shape, 2 years screwing around doing yoga and everything else I do in my life and not making pictures. And this photography is a skill. It's like learning how to do archery or anything else. If you don't practice, you're not going to be very good at it. And I frankly have not been practicing a lot. It's not a big part of my life anymore. It's not a big part of my job anymore, sadly. I really wish it would be, because I'm kind of jonesing to get back to doing this kind of thing. But again, this is a picture package. I hope you enjoyed this film, because I'm going to start doing this on a regular basis. And go practice your own. Adios. Was that even remotely helpful? I hope it was helpful, because it was a total pain to put together. Not to blow my own horn, but, you know, I'm kind of a photo martyr. Oh, look, it's my van. Kind of a photo martyr. And, you know, I put here on the earth to wander and spread photographic joy to people that I don't know. That's what I'm here. You're welcome. And I think this is going to be an ongoing series, because I try to create picture packages every time I go in the field, because I'm often frustrated. I don't have enough time to actually do a photo essay anymore. I don't get that kind of time, and probably never will. I'll probably be dead. That's the next time I'll have time to do a photo essay, is when I'm dead. So be prepared for more of these.